On this week's episode, we're going to talk about how to create a repeatable and
scalable
annuity process. Hello, everyone. This is Chad Owen. I am the Annuity Sales Coach, owner of Retirement Realized Financial, Retirement Realized Agents Academy, and people always love it when I say that, but it's a fact. I also am an agent in the field, just like you, running appointments just like you, getting stood up just like you, having no-shows just like you, having people not answer the phone just like you. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. Things. Yeah. Well, it's important to know that because there are so many people that are cubicle jockeys that they have never ran an appointment in their life. And you know what? There's a lot of good marketers out there that have not run appointments. I mean, I have some dear friends that do that. But man, when you try and get someone to explain to you how to make calls when you've called for the 100th time and nobody's answered the phone and you're ready to just pull every last bit of hair out of your head, it's better when someone's in the field, just like you.
That's true.
Being tortured, just like you. Wanting to scream and quit, just like you. No, I'm
So
teasing.
You're saying you can empathize with their struggles?
I can empathize, sympathize, magnifies, realize. I could keep going on and on.
Wow.
I could even make up words that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
But they're real to me.
It's almost impressive.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
All right. Well, that is the reason that we have Retirement Realized Agents Academy. So I can tell you what we are going to do and what we're not going to do. We are not going to take the next 15 minutes and give you the full scoop of Chad's sales process because that's what's in the academy. But what we are going to do is talk about how to build one, why you need to have one, and some key things that you need to have in it. So,
and if I see any secrets that you're disclosing, I'm not going to answer the question.
It's going to be give me the silent treatment.
You know what? Well, the reality is there's so many people, they want all the value for nothing. Mm-hmm. And I had a good friend of mine, actually become a good friend of mine, that is partnered with us. And he made such a profound statement. He goes, if you want everything I have for free, that means you value nothing of me. Mm. And I was like, this is so profound because coming up 19 years on this, that means all the years of experience, the blood, sweat, tears.
Time.
Blood, sweat, tear, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But the time and putting all this together, this is very valuable. Mm-hmm. And everything, I have a buddy that's going through a real estate thing right now, and he's paying all this money to go through all these tests to get all these things taken care of. But in the insurance industry, I don't know what it is. It's just, we don't want to pay for anything. I'm going, if you want, and I'm telling you, if you want to be super successful in this business, the ones that do it pay the price, not only physically, mentally, emotionally, but also monetarily. Yeah. And they know the value of making it a business, not a hobby. And I don't mean to jump on a soapbox here, but the reality is I want people to succeed. And we go back to what I've talked about. I don't draw money regularly from the academy.
Right.
I don't draw money regularly from the Retirement Realized Financial. Yeah. I just don't. And I think I've only drawn once or twice ever in 6 years. And it's because I do this because I want to help people and I want to create this process that people can do. But you know what? We have an entire team that works on this. I mean, just this process alone of doing podcasts takes 3 people more than me just to do this process. True. And that doesn't include the money we put out there to do everything else, buying the gear. I mean, our cameras alone, what, $3,000, $4,000, I think is what we spent on those.
Oh, probably at least.
At least. So I'm not trying to get on a soapbox. I'm just trying to get people to understand. Stop treating this like a hobby. It's a business, and put your money into it. Treat it like a college education without having to deal with professors that are just spewing their political viewpoints. But that's a whole nother thing. That's on next week's episode. I'm just teasing.
The business mentality is, for me, a key performance indicator.
It is.
In the industry. I can pretty well look at, you take age out of it, gender, race, take that out of the equation, Does the agent have a business mentality about what they're doing, or do they view themselves as just an independent sales rep for an insurance company trying to make a quick buck with as little input as they can make?
And those are the guys that do not have a process.
They don't, and they don't last.
Nope.
They're in it for a year. They're in it for two, maybe.
92% of agents fail within the first 2 years of this business.
Because they don't have the business mentality.
Yep.
Grant Cardone says that, I'm not going to quote it perfectly, but that there is virtually no risk in learning how somebody does what you're trying to do. Now, that doesn't mean you go pay a $1 million producer thousands of dollars to try and learn how they did $1 million in premium. Saying, what are you trying to get to? They got lucky on one case. What are you trying to get to?
That was funny.
Is somebody actually doing what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Right? That's why I tell agents, don't even bother trying to build a downline unless you're writing over $5 million a year in premium at least.
Yeah. It's funny. I just started thinking about, our producer here loves basketball, even though it's not a real sport.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But, you start to look at, if you go watch some guy that's playing at middle school intramural basketball, are you going to go get a course there? Or are you going to go to, I don't know, who's a really good, LeBron James? I mean, maybe he's like a really good basketball player.
Yeah.
And how much would somebody pay to be trained by him?
Sure. It wouldn't be worth it, his time, because of endorsements and all that. But
I mean, if I knew more basketball names, once again, it's not a real sport. So, anybody who cries, it's like soccer, these guys get out there and they get hit and they cry and they wall on the ground. Then you watch women's soccer, they get hit, knocked down, and they bounce right back up and they have vengeance on people. Women's soccer is more than men's soccer. I think it's better, but I probably alienated one person on this entire. Now, if we're talking about hockey, that's different. Hockey's a real sport. Rugby's a real sport. Football, almost a real sport.
Basically, your argument is the greater your chance of dying, the more real the sport.
Real injuries, without whining.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I mean, a hockey player will reset his arm and put in fake tooth and get back out and start playing again. A soccer player will get a hangnail and rolling on the ground. Actually, forget it. Not even hangnail. They just don't even get contact and they're rolling on the ground. It's theater.
It's true.
Soccer and basketball is theater. So,
all right. Well, we got to get into some value here because so far they're sitting there for 7 minutes listening to Chad talk about his sports.
No, we did talk about the process. We did talk about the value of treating this like a business.
You do have to treat it like a
versus
business.
a hobby.
If you want to have long-term sustained success.
Yep.
You want to have a flash-in-the-pan career, okay, don't bother.
And we emphasize this so much. It's so important to understand, if you do this industry right, this business right, not only do you get to help thousands of people, you get to have a lifestyle for your family and create a legacy. And that's why we're so particular on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So general annuity sales process, you're going to have some kind of prospect or lead come in. You're going to make a call, book an appointment some way. You're going to run that appointment, probably have a follow-up appointment of sorts. You get into application process. The insurance company's then going to review funding, and then it's going to issue. You're going to have a policy delivery, and then you're going to have a free look period. And ideally, you get outside of that free look period, and it's still in force, and everybody's happy. That's the overview of the annuity sales process.
Well, and then past the year.
Well, true, yeah. Because
I actually just had a client surrender a policy that was less than a year old, and I got a charge back on it. It wasn't a big one, but I'm sitting there going, number one, the insurance company didn't contact me, which I hate, because this person, I remember talking to them.
You probably could have retained it.
I probably could have, because I remember the conversation with this person, and probably what they saw, I don't know, this guy was a big land person too, so he might have cashed it out thinking he could buy land, but if he would have activated the income rider on it, he could have made the payment for the land and then kept both. But that's, people just don't think that way.
Right.
But yeah, go for it.
It's true. So when we're talking about the annuity sales process, we're largely talking about the phone call when you're working a new lead to book the appointment, running the first appointment, running the second appointment, handling objections, And that's generally kind of the sales process per se. Even though, yes, there are technicalities that have to come involved, with the carrier and all those paperwork and all the different things, where your process stands out most amongst agents, I think, is in the direct client interaction portions of it. Yep. So why do you want to build a repeatable sales process? Some key components for it that you need to look for. So when you're building your annuity sales process, these are some things you want to do. You want to make sure that it's building your expertise in their eyes, right? So it's not braggadocious and that
expertise slash credibility.
Yes.
Credibility I think would be more than expertise, because credibility is you can be an expert all day long, but not come across as credible.
That's true.
A lot of people that focus on their expertise over credibility are usually pretty arrogant and they're slimy. They're like, I've done this, and then they're going, yeah, but you're a slime ball. Really good salespeople have to balance on that line of credibility versus expertise, because expertise can come across as arrogant, and credibility comes as security.
It's almost the way that that your knowledge interacts with the trust they have of your character.
I think that would be a very good way to put that. You want the trust in the character and who you are versus the accomplishments you have.
Wow. That's good. It's education heavy, right? So you're actually teaching people, learning them something, solution-based process.
So we go back to education. I hope I don't micromanage this whole thing there, but education is not as important as trying to project something on someone as far as information knowledge versus your ability to explain it in a way to where they can retain it.
Correct.
At the level they understand it at.
Right. Yeah.
Because I can be educated by someone. We when we did that RV trip, we got to stay on a military base because one of our friends is retired military. And he's starting to tell us all this stuff that he can tell us because he had a high clearance level, but he was trying to educate us, but at a level to where I still don't know what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand it.
Sure.
But to them, he's like, I've done this for 25 years. I knew this inside and out. So it's so important to remember education. You should not sacrifice the ability to explain it in a very simple way.
Yes.
I can go to Chat GPT and I can say, explain to me at a high level what nuclear fusion is. Or I could do, explain to me a way that a fifth grader could understand nuclear fusion. The two explanations are going to be completely different.
It's true.
And I think we need to relate our information to our clients in a way that they feel comfortable at.
Yeah. The greatest professor I've ever had in however many years of schooling was my freshman year of college algebra professor. And it was simply because
they cannot explain that to me. I still don't understand
he
algebra.
Could have taught you algebra.
Okay, good.
It was the way that he took the information, simplified it in a way that I understood, the class understood. So you were actually able to not just hear it, but you were able to grasp it.
Wow.
And you're able to understand it. So yeah, it's education, it's teaching, it's those things, but ultimately
also
for the sake
of
obtaining a result.
In your way your brain understands it, because algebra, I never fully understood. I barely scraped by in algebra. Geometry, easy.
Sure.
I could understand high-level geometry and did very well in it, but algebra, man, even pre-algebra, I remember, I don't even know how I got to Algebra 1, and I never made it to Algebra 2 because my brain did not think that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's interesting. Your professor could do that.
He was the best educator I've ever had. Now, he's not my favorite teacher, but he's the best simply educator.
So explain that. What makes the difference between an educator being your favorite educator versus your favorite teacher? Because this could apply to what we're talking about right now.
Yeah, so I would say that either my sophomore year of high school history teacher or my sophomore year of high school chemistry teacher were my two favorite teachers.
Okay,
but that was based on the relationship. It was based on the connection, like just developing a relationship with them. It didn't have as much to do with their ability to teach as much as it did with their ability to relate to me, connect, that type of thing.
So wouldn't that be good if you took your them and mix that with your freshman college professor.
If you could have hybridized the two, you would have had a super professor.
Which is what we need to be
right
in our clients' eyes.
Yeah.
We need to be someone that's very relatable, but also can explain information in a way they understand.
Totally.
I relate to clients all the time. My people say this, they go, I don't understand anything in financial world. I just don't. And I said, that's okay. What'd you do for a living? Why as an electrician? I don't understand what you do either.
Yeah.
I know that if I cut a wire this live, I'm going to get shocked. There's my level of what your expertise is.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm afraid anytime I try and rewire something, I could burn down the entire house. That's why I call an electrician.
Right.
To them, they may look at that. That's a light switch. That's easy to do that. I look at that, goes, there's 3 wires there. I got an idea of where they connect, but if I do the wrong thing or don't do it right, I could burn down my entire house.
Right.
So that always puts them at an ease of going, oh, so I don't have to be an expert to understand this.
Correct. I think the difference is that it's often the terms that get used, right? So if you use industry terms, right? So let's talk about
MIGA, FIA,
right.
SPIA, say the whole thing.
Right. You throw these, terms out. Let's even talk about some of the way insurance companies label different accounts and things. It's like they try and create these different marketing things around the name of it. And it's like, all that is the income amount.
Even hybrid annuity. That's not an actual full-on recognized term.
Right.
It's becoming more acceptable in the insurance industry as far as regulators go. But, man, you talk about a hybrid annuity, they're looking that up, and then they see variable annuities, fixed annuities, indexed annuities, and they don't understand what is a hybrid annuity. So we got to be careful in making our own terms.
Correct. Yes. I would agree. Don't make your own terms, but use terms that are easily understood. If you go back to the electricity example and somebody were to say, hey, pull that 12 gauge, X whatever wire over here, it's like, okay, well, I don't quite know what that is. They say, hey, grab that red wire and bring it over here. It's like, oh, I understand that.
Yep.
See what I mean? It's often a terms thing.
Yep.
You want to focus on solutions, right? Not product features. Product features create benefits to the client.
Yep.
The benefits are what create the result, the actual thing that's impacting them, and that result needs to be based on the needs that they have and the purpose of the money. Yep. So it's all solution-based. It should be low pressure, high value, and it should be extremely efficient.
Should be no pressure, high value.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no reason to ever apply pressure. Urgency maybe, but that's different than pressure. Pressure means you're trying to get them to do something. And anytime you have pressure, you have an atmospheric change and you can feel it. So if you're going up or down in an airplane, you're going to feel pressure changes. What I want clients to understand is urgency. If you don't want to lose money in the market, because that's what you said, and the market's very volatile, then that is your decision. You should probably look at protecting your money, but that's your decision. So I hope I can, the difference between pressure and urgency is 2 different things. So generally, when we're talking about the heart behind something and how you really genuinely want to help someone, they can feel that more than the pressure.
That's true.
So
yeah, they most people can tell, are you in this for you, or are you in this for me, based on the way you handle everything.
Correct.
And I think too, when they can sense that, and you handle objections, or you bring some realization of the urgency of the matter or whatever, you're right, it doesn't feel as much like pressure because they understand where you're coming from, but there needs to be a consistency in that throughout the whole process.
I don't know if you could ever talk to any of my clients, and I bet if you asked them, did you ever feel pressured by Chad? I can't think of any situation I've been into where a client could say they felt pressured. Because I always say, this is your money, your decision. This affects you way more than it affects me.
Right.
There's no pressure here. I have no emotional attachment to your money. I don't care if this is a $3 million deal or this is a $100,000 deal. It honestly doesn't matter to me. And people know that. Because, a $100,000 deal can do the same thing for a client that $1 million deal could do for a client. I just don't get emotionally attached to it. So therefore, there's no pressure. Your decision.
It's true.
And part of that, once again, is just understanding. Sorry about that. I still keep my phone going because I have clients and I know exactly which one that is and I need to talk to them, but I'll wait till after this.
The last one I mentioned was efficiency. And to give you a little bit of context here for Chad's process, not a glimpse into it because you got to go to the academy, but an idea of what it looks like. Your calls are 10, maybe 15 minutes when you call a new lead. You go from a new lead to an appointment in 10 or 15 minutes. And on that call, you've built up credibility, right? You've gotten basic information that you need to run an illustration for educational purposes in that first appointment that you're going to. You've answered general questions that they have, and you've booked it. So 4 key objectives in that phone call process are completed in 10 or 15 minutes, appointment booked. You go out to the appointment, you tell them on the, generally it's 45 minutes?
That would be a good timing guide. Say 45 minutes is probably an average.
And then
I
whatever
have some
questions
that take
they have.
3 hours. I have some that have taken 20 minutes.
Sure.
And 20 minutes is generally, if it's under 20 minutes, it's generally me going, I don't think there's an area I can help you, or, hey, that annuity you're in already is, you just want to leave it there.
Sure.
It's something that I couldn't help them in.
So generally about 45 minutes, answer some questions, leave the materials. You're going over all your documents and things, which again, available in the academy. You book the second appointment while you're there. You go back out about a week later.
If I didn't close at the first appointment, because
Correct.
15 to 20% of the time, it's a one sit, one close. And once again, no pressure. There's something along the lines, I've looked at annuities for years, and I think I want to do it now. Or, I've been to 10 seminars, those dinner seminars that everybody else paid for, and I like what you have, so I want to go ahead. I love it when that happens. They go, this is like, I've been to 10 seminars already, and I just didn't like the cookie cutter type deal. And I'm not knocking seminars because some of the best agents in the entire United States do seminars.
It's true.
So I'm not knocking that. It's just something I don't do because of time.
Yeah.
But there's certain areas where if you're not in a highly populated area, you need to do seminars. That's your only option.
In your major business for sure.
Yep.
You go into the second appointment, answering questions, whatever it is, closing, filling out application paperwork, on to the next thing. Total time is really for you with a client about 3 hours.
Yeah, that would be if it took 2 appointments.
Right.
Yeah, that's about right.
And I'm not suggesting transactionalism.
No, not at all. I hate that. Anybody that does that, the whole purpose is to find a problem, find a solution, and then help them understand this is how this works.
I do think that efficiency is an indicator of expertise.
For sure, because I've heard of agents taking 3 hours on a first appointment when I'm like going, that was not that complicated of a situation. Because we have local agents too that I train. I'm going, that was not that complicated. It shouldn't have taken that long.
Right.
Or it means they were going to a lot of things that didn't matter. And what I mean by didn't matter is, yes, of course their grandkids matter. Of course their vacations matter. Of course this matters. It's just what is pertinent to that particular appointment.
Correct.
And clients appreciate efficiency and being effective in communication and not getting sidetracked. I tell people it will take 30 to 45 minutes to explain everything, and it takes 30 to 45 minutes to explain everything.
Yep.
And clients appreciate that.
Yep. Constantly refine your process.
Yep.
Constantly talk. I encourage you. It's a lonely industry. Make a network of agents that you talk to periodically, get an idea for what they're doing that seems to be working well, and refine as you need to. Learn from somebody like Chad. Get into the academy. Just be a sponge and continually refine. Stay humble. One of the biggest limiters to success long-term is going to be arrogance and thinking you've got it all figured out and you're doing just fine.
There's never a day I've got it all figured out.
Yeah.
And I have been named, and once again, this may sound arrogant, but it's not. I have been named as one of the top agents in the United States.
Yep.
And I take that with the utmost humility. There's been an enormous amount of effort behind that. And I've had a lot of people that have helped me get there. So, nobody does anything by themselves.
Yeah.
It's always a team effort.
So 2 key takeaways real quick. Know what you're bringing clients into before you ever even pick up the phone. Have a call flow that you're using. Have an appointment flow that you're using, and you're bringing them into something rather than just kind of, willy-nilly.
Throwing it at the wall, hoping something sticks.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope this helps you guys. And you know what? We're not always just about the teach. We want you to know we are real people and we love to have fun.
Yeah, we do.
And that's it. Okay.
We do.
Hope this helps you guys. You have a great day and happy selling.